And joining us right now is Misty Darling, broker owner of Better Homes and Garden Real Estate Innovation. And good morning, Misty. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, you've been a real estate agent since about 2000 or so. What are the trends you've seen in the last 25 years in this industry that's been around since, I don't know, houses?
Right. Well, a lot has changed in the time I've been in the business, and it really is so valuable to, when you're thinking of buying or selling, to engage with a real estate agent to be able to find out, like, what are the things I need to know when I'm going through the process. But one thing that I am so grateful for is when you read about what's happening in other parts of the country, what we really have here in Iowa is affordability. The median home price is $285,000 versus nationally $400,000. And it brings a lot of opportunities to people for home ownership that you might not have elsewhere.
And where are you calling from this morning?
So I am in the Des Moines market, so I'm just a couple hours from you.
Yeah, and that market has exploded since you became a real estate in 2000. It's unbelievable the growth that's happening over there, and people are getting into brand new homes, and people are buying those homes that those people who used to live in. It's dynamic.
Right. New construction is a strong part of the central Iowa real estate market, and it really creates a lot of opportunity.
So, home values continue to increase at a steady rate. I mean, it's never been a bad idea to get in real estate.
No, and one thing that might surprise people, because you do get a lot of negative messages of, oh my goodness, mortgage rates are much higher than they were 3 or 4 years ago. And so there's an assumption of people probably aren't moving because of that, right? And that is not at all the case. The truth is, even with mortgage rates having risen the last 3 years, and we're around a 7% mortgage rate right now, which historically is not on the high side at all, but home values have continued to rise 3 to 5% a year in our market, even with that happening. And there's a couple different reasons. First, people are always going to need a home to be in. We need shelter. But also, if you're not in the home ownership mode and you're renting, there's been an even higher increase in rental rates in that time. So it's made the rise in mortgage rates seem much more reasonable, because your overall cost of being in a home can be, in many different cases, better when you're owning versus renting.
Yeah, I can talk with Misty Darling. She's in the Des Moines area, a real estate agent, getting the inside scoop on that. And it feels to me, Misty, that what we've seen over the last few years, we had a real seller's market. Like, hey, if you like that house, you better put a bid on it today. Things are not going down in price, so the sellers are still doing well. But it feels like the buyers are getting more time to think, and there's more houses out there at this point in time, and maybe the mortgage rates have just kind of slowed the roll a little bit. You're still going to sell your house. It might just take you a little while longer. Is that true?
Right. I mean, it's normalized it. And so what we see is that as a buyer, you actually have time to shop for the right home. Mm-hmm. You have time to put together the offer that you want. Sellers realize that they will need to negotiate things like closing costs, maybe an interest rate buy down, or just give you more time to make a decision on what is right for you.
Now, when we're looking for a home, how do you help people do that? Because we talked about it as an investment, but it's more than an investment. I don't live in my 401k. I don't have to, I don't need a mudroom in that. There's these things I want creature comforts because it's where I am. It's where I'm going to raise my family, Misty.
Right. So Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, they recently came out with a home insights report. With our connection with the Better Homes and Gardens magazine and all of the information that they get there, it really combines for us to find out how people are living and what's going to maximize their living. And we're really seeing people maximizing their current spaces with functional design and renovations. For example, doubling the purpose of something. Maybe making a room that's a home office also your exercise space. Doing renovations to your kitchen that are going to make it more gourmet and more of a showcase rather than just a functional space. Things like that.
Yeah, and we have a home that was built in '57, and you can just see the floor plan. Lots and lots of walls, lots and lots of rooms was the style then. And we were looking, should we build? Should we maybe move somewhere else? And we decided, our friends at Stege Construction were able to help us just renovate our kitchen and dining room space, and gosh, it feels so much better.
It makes such a difference to just do small changes within a floor plan to make it functional for today's use. That's awesome.
And not only did it make it more functional, I'm sure we added good value to our home, don't you think?
Oh, for sure. And so that's interesting that you say that, because one of the things that I really love being able to help people with is when they are making decisions about what kind of changes they need to make to their home. Not every renovation is going to give you the same return on investment, but a good real estate agent is going to be able to tell you kitchens, bathrooms, garage improvements, even just paint. Like, there's some specific things that you can do that maximize value, and it's just keeping in mind what are things that the market's looking for.
Mm-hmm. You're talking with Misty Darling. She's with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate in the Des Moines area. And I was thinking about this a while back. Since the year 2000, we kind of lost the decades. We used to, hey, this is 60s decor, this is 70s, this is 80s, 90s decor. And now we have generational decor, whereas someone in Gen Z decorates and makes their home design different than people in my generation, is might be called the older millennials, is what I am.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Gen Z is all about maximalism, like using bold colors, vintage decor. Millennials really lean more towards Scandinavian style, mid-century modern style, just a little more simple, a little more clean. And you see that in what kind of homes they're looking for as well.
And those are the two generations to really think about, right, when you're doing things to your home, because no offense to our baby boomers and maybe our Xers as well, but those aren't the people buying as many homes right now.
Right. It's going to be the younger generations that are in that position that they need to make more frequent moves, because their lifestyles are changing every few years because of family changes, job changes, all of that.
Now, you talk about these things that are pretty general, but imagine if we sat down and we looked at the current area where we are, like the greater Des Moines market is different than the Cedar Valley where we are, just because of different types of people, different jobs, different school systems and all that. So what's your advice for someone maybe looking to buy or sell this year in their area?
It's never too early to start the conversation. For instance, I've talked to several people in the past couple of weeks that are thinking of moving end of summer to sometime in the fall. And sometimes people call me kind of apologetically going, oh, I'm not ready to do anything yet. I'm like, right now is perfect, because having time to plan makes it so you focus on the right way to prepare your home, focusing on the things that are going to give you a return, going to maximize the value of your home when you sell it. You're also not going to feel rushed into making a decision on your next home. Time is your friend when you're making a plan. So if you're thinking about doing something in 2025 towards the end of the year, start talking to an agent now.
Yeah. And what's the best way to stage a home? Because that is such a huge thing. I often said I used to help my mom sell mobile homes, And she'd always tell me, buyers don't have great imaginations. You got to help them see what it could be.
Absolutely. And not just that, if you are currently living in a home, you don't want people to think about what your lifestyle is in the home. You want people to envision what their lifestyle is going to be in a home. So staging is extremely important, both for occupied homes as well as vacant homes.
You real estate agents need to get boarding schools for our kids, though, so we can keep it staged.
Well, you know what? I always say you're going to move anyway. Get all the stuff out of your home, and then it's like you're camping in your home. You don't have to worry about having all your stuff. And it's amazing because I have had so many clients over the years that have taken my advice. Basically pare down everything in their homes, put it in storage during the time that their home's on the market. And they're like, oh my gosh, this has been so freeing, not having all this stuff that my kids can drag out every day.
No doubt. And Misty, before we get to the final question here, the old adage was you need 20% down for a down payment. And that's easy if you're selling a home to buy another home. But when you're a first-time home buyer, that's a lot of money. Do you still need to put 20% down? And what happens if you don't?
Yeah, absolutely not. We have so many great programs that are available here in Iowa. The Iowa Finance Authority is just incredible for creating down payment assistance programs. So you don't need any money down if you are a first-time home buyer. The interesting thing, they classify a first-time home buyer is not necessarily someone who has never owned a home, but someone who hasn't owned a home in the last 5 years. So maybe you owned a home in the past, and after divorce or job change, you rented for the last few years. You can still qualify for first-time home buyer grant. That doesn't require any down payment.
Okay. Well, where can we go for more information about anything you touched on, Misty?
Well, the Better Homes and Gardens Life Report, that is on bhgre.com/BHGRE Life. That's the Insight Report. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, maybe you're thinking about a move to Central Iowa or would like connected to a great agent in your area, find me at MistySoldTeamIowa.com.
All right. Well, Misty, thank you so much for joining us and enjoy what I think, is it snowing where you are?
No, but it is cold, and I think it's coming our way.
Okay. Well, if you do get snow, enjoy it today, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, again, that's Misty Darling, our real estate expert, joining us here on The Breakfast Club.